Hello and welcome to GED Mathematics Live at PALS. In this video, we will be talking about Pythagoras. The Pythagorean theorem is a rule that applies to a type of triangle called right triangles. Right triangles are triangles that include a right angle, two sides that are perpendicular and meet to form a perfect corner. The longest side of any right triangle is called its hypotenuse, usually labeled C, and the other two sides are called legs, usually labeled AN and B. The Pythagorean theorem is a formula that relates the sides and hypotenuse, that the sum of the square of each legs is equals to the square of the hypotenuse, or the longest side. That's why we've got the formula a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. Let's try an example. Given the triangle shown, what is the value of x? Using the Pythagorean theorem with legs a and b and hypotenuse c, we can write that 15 squared plus x squared is equals to 25 squared. Solving this equation for x give us the final answer. X squared is equals to 400 and the square root of 400 is equals to 20. So x is equals to 20. So you need only the positive part of the square root rule when working with triangles because side lengths cannot be negative. Let's try another example. As shown in the figure, a computer monitor measures 12 inches wide by 6 inches high. To the nearest tenth of an inch, what is the diagonal measure of the monitor as indicated by the dashed line? Although the monitor is a rectangle, the two halves created by the diagonal with legs of 12 inches and 6 inches. To find the diagonal, which is the hypotenuse, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. So 6 squared plus 12 squared is equals to c squared. Solving, we got c squared is equals to 180. Then the square root of 180 is equals to 13.4. So the diagonal measures 13.4 inches. As you work with the Pythagorean theorem, make sure you know whether you are trying to find the length of a leg or the hypotenuse. Also, don't forget to watch for areas where right triangles are not obviously present. Let's try some more examples. Direction. In problems 1 and 2, find the length of the missing side of the described right triangle. If necessary, round your answers to the nearest tenth. Number 1. A right triangle has legs of measure 10 and 15. What is the measure of its hypotenuse? So we have the two legs and we are just looking for the longest side. We have c squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. Substituting the length of the legs, 10 and 15, we have 15 squared plus 10 squared, which is equals to 225 plus 100. Adding, we've got 325, and the square root of 325 is 18. So the measure of the triangle's hypotenuse is 18. Number 2, the leg of a triangle has a length of 3 inches, while the hypotenuse has a length of 5 inches. What is the length of the remaining leg? So we are looking for the measure of the remaining leg. So we have one leg given and the hypotenuse. Okay, using the Pythagorean theorem formula, got c squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. Since we are looking for one of the legs, so we can rearrange the formula into a squared is equals to c squared minus b squared. Then plugging in the values of the given, we've got 5 squared minus 3 squared, which is 25 minus 9, is equals to 16. And the square root of 16 is 4. So the measure of one of the leg of the right triangle is 4. Number 3, what is the value of x in the figure? Now, in the figure, x is the length of the hypotenuse. So we can use the formula for the Pythagorean theorem. So x squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. Plugging in the given values, we have 5 squared plus 10 squared, which is equals to 25 plus 100. And then the square root of 125 is 11.2. So the measure of the hypotenuse is 11.2. Number 4. A 15-foot ladder is leaned against a building. The base of the ladder is 12 feet away from the bottom of the building. How far from the ground is the top of the ladder? Note, drawing is not to scale. So here, we will still be using the formula, the Pythagorean formula. So we have c squared is equals to a squared plus b squared. Since we are looking for the height, so we can rearrange the formula into h squared is equals to c squared minus b squared, which is 15 squared minus 12 squared, or 225 minus 144, which is equals to 81. And the square root of 81 is 9, so the height is 9. Number 5. A right triangle has a hypotenuse measured 10 feet and one leg measuring 6 feet. What is the perimeter of this triangle? Perimeter is the total length of all the sides. So there are 3 sides. We already have 2. We already have the longest side, the hypotenuse, which is 10 feet, and one leg, which is 6 feet. So we just need to find one of the leg. So using the formula, we have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Since we are looking for one of the leg, so we have a squared plus is equal to c squared minus b squared, which is 10 squared minus 6 squared is equal to 100 minus 36, which is 64. And the square root of 64 is 8. So the perimeter is 6 feet plus 10 feet plus 8 feet, a total of 24. Okay, that's the end of this video. If you have any question or if you did not understand the part of the presentation, you can comment below. And if you want to know more about Phuket PALS, you can visit us on www.phuketpals.org, or you can check our Facebook, Phuket PALS, or you can call us on 081-417-0978.